Hello, I'm Norm Dressler. I'm a longtime member of the BC Aviation Museum, and I was one of the group that set up the initial Aviation Museum. The launch of the BC Aviation Museum was the result of a series of seemingly unrelated circumstances that came together at a critical time. The idea of an aviation museum had been kicked around for years, and there were at least 4 organizations that were trying to establish a museum. But it's difficult for an unknown organization to get enough credibility to obtain the backing of government agencies. The Victoria Flying Club had been denied an extension of their hangar lease to accommodate plans for an expanded control tower and fire hall complex at that location, necessitating a search for a new location for the Flying Club operation. A new building had been constructed on the northeast side of the airport for the Trident Aircraft Corporation, where they were proposing to manufacture the Trigal amphibious aircraft. Unfortunately, Trident lost its financial backing and the building had sat empty for several years. The directors of the Flying Club conceived a plan to amalgamate the diverse aviation museum groups and then made a proposal to the provincial government for the use of the Trident building, which is now the Nicholson building, for combined aviation museum and Flying Club operation. The proposal was considered by the government representatives, but they countered with an offer to provide 2 or 3 of the pavilion buildings from the Expo 86 site, combined with an Expo Legacy Grant, to barge the buildings from Vancouver to a proposed site on the Victoria Airport. However, the Expo pavilions were not designed as permanent buildings and would not meet either the seismic or the snow load requirements. So it was proposed that a steel building be purchased with the Expo Legacy Grant, and the provincial government agencies agreed. Now, while all of these negotiations were taking place, 2 important issues changed. The airport planners for the Tower Fire Hall complex decided to keep the functions separate and rebuild them on their current locations. This then allowed the Flying Club to obtain an extended lease for their hangar site, and as well, Transport Canada approved a tariff-free lease on the airport for the purpose of building an aviation museum. The Flying Club was thus able to commence their flying operations at the preferred site and celebrated by doing an extensive modernization of their hangar. Meanwhile, the Commonwealth Aviation Military Museum, later renamed the British Columbia Aviation Museum, was able to proceed with the construction of the first building on what has become a 3-hangar complex.